What if I told you there was an MLB team that failed to win a championship despite spending record amounts of money with players who had 6 combined MVPs, 7 Cy Young Awards, 11 Gold Glove defenders, and 41 All-Stars all on the same field? 2021 and 2022 were 2 of the greatest Dodgers teams of all time, yet somehow failed to win it all. They amassed over twice as many wins as the 2 lowest performing teams in the league. Hell, they became the only team in MLB's 122-year history to strike out more than 1,598 batters in a single season. All while averaging a 1.36 ERA+, meaning they were 36% better than the average team at pitching, which is the highest mark for a National League team in over 136 years. Not to mention, they had a top 4 scoring lineup in baseball, they were top 5 in home runs, they were doing everything. They tied their own franchise win record that they had only set 2 years prior. A year prior, they won the World Series in dominant fashion and were looking to do it all over again. That's why immediately after winning the World Series, they spent over $100 million to make their team better. They signed the best free agent in baseball, and were looking to win in back-to-back championships. Even during the season at the trade deadline, they acquired multiple superstars from a hitter to a pitcher. Then in 2022, they added another MVP hitter, revamped the rotation, and won even more games. They were one of the most insane teams we had ever seen. But how could a team with so much talent fail to make it to the big stage? Is it because of off-the-field drama?
Star Diamondbacks and Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer is now being accused of sexual assault by a 4th woman.
Perhaps it was as simple as the pressure getting into their heads.
He's going to field, and he didn't get Yastrzemski, so now Posey ranges away, and Bellinger throws it so high! Posey will come in to score!
Or maybe it was just plain bad luck.
9th, Riley line drive, that is down! A base hit! Here comes Albies, and the Atlanta Braves win Game 1!
But no matter what it was, one thing's for certain. I don't understand how they managed to get this talented just to lose in the playoffs. This team is the one and only LA Dodgers. Throughout the 2000s, the Dodgers had a history of making it deep into the playoffs, but rarely succeeding when it mattered the most.
Got him! They've done it!
Before we get to their 2 best teams, let's go back a few years in 2017. When, at the trade deadline, they had the best record in baseball and acquired superstar pitcher Yu Darvish. They still sat at the top of the league, and then the playoffs came around. They demolished the Diamondbacks, sweeping them in a 3-0 series, and then beat the Cubs in a 4-1 insane fashion. As they braced for their first World Series berth in nearly 30 years, they were the undisputed favorite to defeat the Houston Astros. And I'm almost certain, in fact I am certain, that they would have beaten them if it wasn't for the biggest cheating scandal in modern baseball. The Astros literally knew everything that the Dodgers were pitching at them before it was even thrown. So yes, they lost in 2017. And then 2018 was nearly the same story. They were an incredible team, acquiring superstar hitter Manny Machado at the trade deadline. But when their season was on the line in the World Series, to end it, Machado did this.
Red Sox win the World Series!
After losing in consecutive World Series and trading for player after player, it seemed like nothing was working. I mean, after all, 2019 was by far their best team. They had an MVP, Cody Bellinger. They won the most games in baseball, the most in their franchise history, and still didn't win a championship. So, options were wearing thin, but they made a blockbuster deal acquiring Mookie Betts. Yet another MVP, a 4-time Gold Glover, who they immediately inked to a 13-year, $392 million contract, making him the 2nd highest paid player in baseball. And in 2020, he was a good enough addition for them to win it all. Well, kinda.
And strike 3! Dodgers have won it all in 2020!
Due to the global pandemic, they only played a 60-game season versus the usual 162-game seasons. So everybody called their 2020 championship a Mickey Mouse win, one that nobody cared about. Yet again, they were back in a tricky situation of feeling like they had a lot to prove, and they did. This is how we get to the 2021 LA Dodgers. Let's have a look at the roster. Star pitcher David Price was joining the bullpen after being out all of 2020. Starting pitcher Tony Gonsolin was also coming back from an injury. But the Dodgers truly wanted to be a super team, and they weren't far off from it. So they made what everyone thought was the biggest move of the 2021 offseason.
Breaking news on CBS Sports HQ, the Trevor Bauer sweepstakes is over and the LA Dodgers are the winner.
Signing Trevor Bauer meant adding a legitimate top 5 pitcher in MLB in an already great rotation. Let's not forget, Kershaw was a former MVP, Walker Buehler was a 2-time All-Star, and the back end of Julio Urias and Tony Gonsolin was a fierce rotation. Trevor Bauer was the National League Cy Young Award winner in 2020 and had molded into a fan favorite. He did everything the right way and most importantly was the #1 free agent on the market. Clearly, pitching was their strength, but this team had just lost multiple key hitters. Their biggest loss was slugger Jock Peterson, who crushed 36 home runs in his final season with the Dodgers. He wasn't a small bat for them to be losing. Utility man Kike Hernandez was also departing, who had displayed excellent defensive skills with his glove for many years. Otherwise, they were projected to break records and win a ton of games, and that's exactly what they did.
Ball back, it's gone! A home run, A.J. Pollock!
Swatted to right center field. Diving play! A walk-off catch! Mookie magic!
They opened the season with 13 wins and just 2 losses. The Dodgers were nothing short of magnificent like everyone had expected them to be. Guys were making a name for themselves in LA, especially their new pitcher, Trevor Bauer.
The payoff pitch. Got him swinging with a fastball and pounds his chest as he walks off.
But over the next few weeks, the Dodgers randomly became very bad. For starters, the 2019 MVP Cody Bellinger was playing awful. And I mean, he was chasing pitches that was so clearly out of the zone in pathetic at-bats. The worst part about it is instead of being able to work through his problems, he suffered a hairline fracture, keeping him out for almost all of May. Their record was slowly skidding downwards as they entered into a 4-14 stretch. They went on their first 3-game losing streak since August of 2019, but how were they suddenly just so bad? Well, it was a mix of everything, starting with the bullpen.
And it's gone! Home run!
That was of course their closing pitcher Kenley Jansen, who had a 4.50 ERA in April. The bullpen in general was a dumpster fire of a 4.13 ERA. But somehow, that wasn't even closest to the worst of their concerns. Their best hitter through April, shortstop Corey Seager, was hit by a pitch that completely fractured his hand. The Dodgers now wouldn't have him for over 65 games. Relief pitcher David Price was going to be out for weeks. Starter Tony Gonsolin was out with elbow inflammation and didn't seem to be coming back. But just wait, it gets even worse. On May 1st, young starting pitcher Dustin May was forced into getting an elbow surgery, meaning he was out for the rest of the season. They needed a big spark, or their season could really take a detour. I mean, already, they were in steep competition with the San Francisco Giants, who out of nowhere became a direct contender against the Dodgers in the NL West. And then, something changed. The Dodgers signed a 3-time MVP, 2-time Gold Glove winner, Albert Pujols. He would be their first baseman / designated hitter.
So a 10-time All-Star, a 3-time MVP, one of the greatest ever to do it.
However, there were a lot of concerns about whether or not he could still play. After all, he was having an awful season with the Angels, batting below 200 and giving them no choice but to release him. In his first several games with the Dodgers, he was okay, but he didn't make a huge impact. Yet, still, they won his first 7 straight games in a Dodgers uniform, and it was crazy.
And Albert hammers one. Deep left
Even without one of their best players, Corey Seager, they were on a huge winning streak. There were no signs of them stopping anytime soon. Some of their smaller all-stars, such as Justin Turner, Chris Taylor, and especially Max Muncy, were all playing phenomenal. Closer Kenley Jansen had finally picked it up with a scoreless month in June. They were going to be put to the test on June 28th against the Giants, their rival who had more wins than the Dodgers. So now, could their big free agent pitcher Trevor Bauer play the biggest game of his career? And could the Dodgers hitters step up and provide run support?
It off. That is driven deep left center field. Mookie Betts, a leadoff home run.
One at-bat later,
He hits one a ton. Forget about it. Muncy to the Giants.
Bauer returned the next inning, made one batter look stupid, and then struck out the next. Trevor looked good until this.
Waiting for the 2-1 pitch, and he swings. It's a high fly ball, right field. Betts going back. Mookie Betts all the way at the wall, will leap, and he can't get it.
In the next inning, a runner was on first and second with 2 outs, and he needed to escape the inning.
Comes back to get him. A devilish two-seamer.
After that, the Dodgers were up to bat, and catcher Will Smith crushed this ball into left field, giving them an even bigger lead. Trevor Bauer was able to go on and pitch a successful 6 innings, paving the way to a Dodgers victory. They won the next day, but then they got the worst news of their season. Something terrible had happened.
We've got some breaking news here. Just a few minutes ago, TMZ reported that Trevor Bauer is under investigation for assault. From the TMZ piece, it reads, Pasadena PD is investigating the alleged incident, and sources tell us that Trevor Bauer is cooperating with authorities.
A local woman says that Bauer her after choking her unconscious. A restraining order was executed against Bauer on Monday, which had a lot of people wondering why Major League Baseball didn't do anything until today.
Bauer has been banned for the rest of the 2021 season. Reports say that a majority of his teammates want him off the team for good, and a combination of MLB owners, executives, and lawyers have told ESPN they believe he will never play a Major League Baseball game again.
Trevor Bauer was in a massive scandal. He wasn't going to pitch again for the rest of the season. To go along with this, Dustin May was already out all year. Julio Urias was beyond his career high in innings, and Clayton Kershaw was dealing with an injury. The rotation had just seemingly lost all of their juice. The worst part about it is that Trevor Bauer wasn't actually guilty. The rotation was now just Urias, Buehler, and Gonsolin, who had just returned from an injury. By the All-Star break, the Dodgers were 56-35, 3 games back in the division from the Giants. Interestingly enough, they sat at the top of the league in earned run average with .314, meaning they had the best pitching staff in baseball to this point. But now, only 2 pitchers from the opening day rotation actually remained, and they didn't believe that there was a valuable arm in their minor league system to call up. Their only potential reinforcement could come in the form of David Price, who hadn't pitched in 2 years, or a trade deadline acquisition a few weeks down the line. Either option, unappealing. After the All-Star break, they had 2 series against the Giants and lost both of them. If big changes were not made, they were soon going to be screwed. And the trade deadline was coming up very soon.
Champions have now acquired Max Scherzer and Trey Turner from the Nationals for a massive prospect haul, according to an ESPN report.
Fans, this is what Laker fans have with LeBron, what the Rams have with Matthew Stafford. This is just one thing they needed desperately with starting pitcher, and he's the best one out there. And then to get Trey Turner like as a throw-in, are you kidding me?
Buehler, Urias, Kershaw is your top 4 starters, and if they're all healthy, that's who you have in October. That's a pretty darn good foursome. But
and then for the infield, Trey Turner was one of the best players in baseball.
Left side.
From 2020 and 2021 with the Nationals, he had never hit below a .320 batting average, which is an absurd number.
Has hit for the cycle.
Inserting him into this lineup and Scherzer into this rotation should have meant they were now unquestionably better than San Francisco, right? That's what it seemed like, until the Giants acquired superstar hitter Kris Bryant. The Dodgers hadn't been in first place since April, but they were finally positioned to make a run at the division. From the beginning to the end of August, they went 21-6 and were now just 1 game behind the Giants. And by coincidence, the Dodgers' first series of September was at San Francisco for a crucial series. If they didn't win this, they would lose all of their momentum and probably finish in second place. To say the least, Game 1 was an instant classic. The Dodgers pitched a bullpen game, only allowing 1 run through 9 total innings.
2-2 pitch is a curve to get him swinging.
Yet, the Dodgers' offense was lifeless, scoring absolutely nothing. If they wanted a chance to win this 1-0 game, they'd have to play small ball. However, after leading off in the 9th inning, Mookie Betts hit a grounder to Kris Bryant for the first out. But from the very next batter, the game changed.
Everybody's thinking fastball. Left field. That's going to be a base hit. Ruff cuts it off. And he throws in toward third, which will allow Seager to go to second.
2 out, 1-1. Taylor lines it into center field. It's down for a base hit.
Going into the bottom of the 9th inning, it was a tie game, and the ball was now in the hands of Kenley Jansen. He was exceptional, giving them an opportunity to win this game. In extra innings, there's an automatic runner on second, and Trey Turner was able to hit a fly ball into center field, scoring that run. But all of this progress was for nothing after Brandon Crawford smacked a ball lightly into center field, giving the Giants a run. This set the Dodgers up for the 11th inning with a tied score of 2-2. Seager was able to come up big, hitting a single up the middle, putting runners onto the base paths. But right after that, Will Smith got out and then Kris Bryant swung and missed for the strikeout. Suddenly, it was the bottom of the inning, and the Giants managed to load the bases.
Pitch, Buster hits a shot towards second, over the field to Turner, spins around, throws it first, and he pulled Will Smith off the bag! Posey's safe!
The Dodgers losing this game went on to be, in my opinion, their worst loss of 2021. Despite an impressive month that saw the Dodgers win 9 of their final 10 games, they came up just 1 game short in the division race, losing out to San Francisco. But at the very least, Max Scherzer became the 19th pitcher in MLB history to reach 3,000 strikeouts.
And 3,000 for Scherzer!
They were shaping up to make a postseason run in just days. But that's when things took a really bad turn. First baseman Max Muncy had just suffered a season-ending left elbow injury. He put up career-high production with 36 home runs. He was their only player to hit more than 30 homers. Now, more than ever with Muncy out, they needed guys like Albert Pujols to come up big. But of course, the other glaring hole was in center field with Cody Bellinger. He had his worst season to date with a 165 batting average and a 44 OPS plus, meaning he was over 50% less productive than the average big leaguer. He was genuinely awful. If they had any chance at beating the Cardinals in the wild card round, they need to be able to hit consistently and of course pitch well. They had a 136 ERA plus, the best mark in the National League, for over 112 years. Their pitching was more than likely the least of their concerns. Yet, Max Scherzer and the Dodgers ran into early trouble.
He's not going to see a lot of balls on the ground.
Edman, that's a broken bat. That is a flare that's going to fall in front of Mookie Betts.
After that hit, Edman stole second base, and Scherzer walked the next batter. Nothing was going the Dodgers' way until this amazing catch by Mookie Betts. But all good things come to an end.
Pitch by Scherzer. Outside, and it gets away from the catcher, Will Smith. Tommy Edman scores. Down to second goes Paul Goldschmidt. 1-0 Cardinals.
The game remained 1-0 for multiple innings. However, the Dodgers had bases loaded with 1 out and Trey Turner up to the plate.
Turner is grounded up the middle. Tommy Edman has it. He kicks the bag, throws the first. Double play!
They had just missed a major opportunity, but an inning later,
Wainwright deals. Turner in the air to left field. He's going to watch it fly. Justin Turner strikes again.
Both teams played hard, with the Cardinals making an amazing play 1 inning, and the Dodgers closer Kenley Jansen dominating the 9th inning with strikeouts. Following those strikeouts, Cody Bellinger walked onto base the next inning, setting up the winning run.
Reyes fires, swing and a drive, deep left field. This is way back. Walk him off.
Chris Taylor!
It was by far the craziest moment of the Dodgers season, for now at least. With that wildcard victory, they were moving on into the NLDS against the Giants. The Giants, of course, skipped the wildcard round, were very well rested, and Game 1 did not go well for the Dodgers.
Drive into right center, way back, and Brandon Crawford.
After the loss, they needed to capitalize on key moments in Game 2. Early in the second inning, Chris Taylor doubled into center field. But then, Bellinger had a brutal strikeout nowhere even close to the strike zone. The next batter up was a pitcher. It was Julio Urias in a crucial situation when they needed to drive in a run.
To first base. Oh, that ball's hit hard, right field, sinking fast, it's down. Slater comes up with it, throw to the plate, up the line, gets by.
Dodgers went on to win Game 2, and it continued to be a chaotic series, like in Game 5, when they were a win away from a trip into the National League Championship Series. 7 innings in, it was a tie score between the two rivals. Towards the end of the game, Kenley Jansen struck out Buster Posey, giving the Dodgers a chance to take the lead with a 1-1 game. 2 runners got on base for the Dodgers, but this guy was up to bat. Their season was now in the hands of their worst hitter, one of baseball's worst hitters, Cody Bellinger. But could he redeem himself?
To the bag. Here's a 1-2 and a shot into right center. A base hit for Bellinger. Justin Turner will score. Lux to third. Cody Bellinger delivers in the clutch.
Bellinger came up clutch, and the Dodgers ran away with a series victory. They had been successful so far, but were about to run into a big problem. Their rotation was decimated with injuries. Julio Urias and Walker Buehler were 2 of their only healthy pitchers, and it seemed they couldn't win when they were on the mound. By far their best pitcher, who carried their staff, was Max Scherzer. But unfortunately, in Game 1, they didn't have a starting pitcher. It was a bullpen game from start to finish that they of course lost. With Scherzer on the mound in Game 2, hopes were high that he could turn around the ship. But the 37-year-old Max Scherzer was worn out, fatigued, and failed to go past the 5th inning, resulting in 6 bullpen arms being wasted and a loss to push them even further down. The Dodgers were able to pick up a few wins, but not enough to take the series. They were then eliminated.
They outplayed us, plain and simple.
Many players were about to become free agents, from their closer Kenley Jansen, their slugging shortstop Corey Seager, and way more that they weren't going to bring back. It seemed like the inevitable downfall of baseball's best team. The reasons for their 2021 struggles were clear. From big injuries to postseason fatigue, this team was worn out. But the LA Dodgers were about to shock the world with an unbelievable offseason to build the top team in MLB.
Freddie Freeman and the Dodgers agree. 6 years, $162 million.
That guy, Freddie Freeman, is the real deal on and off the field.
The Dodgers get who they want. The best player, still a free agent, one of the best players, period, in the entire free agent market.
To complete this amazing free agency, they signed reliable starter Tyler Anderson and veteran closer Craig Kimbrell. So, looking at the players who left and the players who joined, it's clear they lost a lot of talent. But at least they were getting notable players back from injury, like Dustin May, Clayton Kershaw, and Max Muncy. Could this team truly be better than they were before? In the opening games of 2022, they embarked on an impressive winning streak, building momentum for a strong season. They were averaging nearly 5 runs a game, Mookie Betts was a star, and Freddie Freeman was amazing. Their talent was unmatched. By the end of July, they were 68-33, overwhelmingly leading their division. But the Padres were about to become their steep competition after an insane trade deadline. On top of them already having superstars all over their team, they were about to add some of the league's best players.
From baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers are trading all-star closer Josh Hader to the Padres.
The best closer and the best left-handed pitcher in all of baseball.
Josh Hader is the type of player that you can throw in the 9th inning in a big playoff game with everything at stake. The Dodgers' 2022 rival Padres were about to get even better.
Yeah, JP Morosi reporting that Juan Soto and Josh Bell are headed to the San Diego Padres.
Juan Soto is at the very least a top 10 hitter in baseball, former World Series champion, and could immediately slide into the Padres lineup as their best hitter. Josh Bell, on the other hand, was one of the better power-hitting first basemen in the entire league. The Dodgers had a lot to worry about if they wanted to make a deep playoff run, especially because the Dodgers didn't do anything at the trade deadline. They kept quiet and believed that their current core could get them to the promised land once again. By early September, they already had 90 wins. On September 12th, they became the first team to clinch a postseason spot. At the end of the regular season, they finished with the most wins in franchise history at 111, winning their division for the 9th consecutive time, all while leading the league in runs scored and allowing the least runs in baseball. Statistically, they were as perfect as an MLB team's gonna get. They led in practically every single batting statistic, had young and veteran talent for their lineup. The Dodgers broke the record for the most wins by multiple runs for a team in history. Nearly every member of their pitching staff had below a 3 ERA. Given that 11 of the previous 12 teams to win more than 108 games had advanced to the World Series, fans had high expectations.
Batter of the game, and the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. 419 feet worth of home run for Trey Turner.
LA was sent straight into the NLDS against the 89-win Padres. With their pitching giving up just 4 runs combined and their offense appearing to be overpowering, the Dodgers had to take the series advantage early for the sake of momentum.
And Turner lifts one to deep left field. Ranging back is Profar.
The Dodgers put on a clinic for the Padres pitchers all 9 innings. It is no surprise that LA took Game 1, but how would they respond at Game 2?
Manny hammers it in the air down the left field line. If it's fair, it's gone, and it is a home run for Manny Machado.
The Padres took the lead early, and then
Freeman sends one to deep center field. Racing back is Grisham. At the track, at the wall, he leaps, and it is gone.
Just 1 inning later, they added to that and led by a run. But their pitching couldn't completely stop the Padres as this game went back and forth. That was until the Padres offense struck in both the 6th inning and the top of the 8th. The Dodgers dropped this game with Hader closing it and even lost Game 3 again with Hader closing the 9th. At this point, they're facing elimination for the 2nd consecutive year. Tyler Anderson was on the mound for LA, and San Diego had Joe Musgrove.
Bouncing ball right side. It's a fair ball past the first baseman Myers. Betts is in. It's going to score 2. Turner's right behind him, and Freddie Freeman strikes first for the Dodgers. It's 2-0 LA.
However, just 1 batter later, Turner flew out to right field, stranding 2 runners. By inning number 6, they again had stranded a runner in scoring position as Musgrove mowed them down. It wasn't until the top of the 7th that they actually scored another run, but would it be enough to give them the win? Well, the Padres immediately got onto base, and then Trent Grisham hit a dropping line drive into center field with runners at 1st and 3rd.
The pitch, and a ground ball chopped to the right side. Freeman reaching for it, can't make the play. Rolls out to second base, the run will score, and everybody's safe.
Almonte has been dynamite so far.
Grounded towards third base, it gets by Muncy, and a fair ball down the left field line. Grisham's on his way home, he will score. Kim to second, an RBI double in a 1-run game. Bonkers. Soto with a line drive into right field, that'll get down. And a base hit. Nola comes in to score, and the game is tied at 3.
Alex Visa was struggling badly, and it was about to get worse. The top of the order, Betts, Turner, Freeman were all up, and Hader was in for the Padres.
0-2 pitch. Check swing. 2 down.
Josh Hader was 1 out away from ruining the Dodgers' 2022 season. On the first pitch, Freeman took a strike down the middle. On the second pitch, he swung and missed, and then they were down to their final strike.
Hader to Freeman. He's struck out! For the first time in 24 years, the San Diego Padres are headed to the National League Championship Series.
The Dodgers sat and witnessed it all in heartbreak of their second wasted generational season. And to why they failed is obvious. They had a bad playoff slump where Betts had just a 143 average and Freeman had a 200 average. The rotation's ERA of 4.50 that series, combined with a struggling bullpen, was a mix of bad luck, fatigue, and a lineup that simply could not rise to the occasion in 2021 or in 2022.